The Achaemenid Empire was one of the most powerful and influential civilizations of the ancient world, stretching from the Indus Valley to the Mediterranean. At its peak, it was ruled by kings who wielded absolute power, their decisions shaping the destiny of millions. But among them, one ruler stands out, not just for his conquests, but for the dark and disturbing rumors that have surrounded his name for centuries. Cambyses II, the son of Cyrus the Great, inherited one of the largest empires in history. Yet, his reign is shrouded in mystery, scandal, and controversy. Ancient sources claim that Cambyses did something unthinkable. He married his own sister, and according to some accounts, even his own daughter. But was this shocking tale fact or mere legend? To understand the truth behind these claims, we must first look at Cambyses II's rise to power. Born into the mighty Achaemenid dynasty, Cambyses was the eldest son of Cyrus the Great, the legendary founder of the Persian Empire. After his father's death in 530 BC, Cambyses ascended to the throne and immediately set his sights on expanding Persian rule. His most famous campaign was against Egypt, a powerful kingdom that had long resisted Persian dominance. In 525 BC, he led his forces across the desert, crushing the Egyptian army at the Battle of Pelusium and capturing Pharaoh Psamtik III. With this victory, Cambyses became pharaoh of Egypt, incorporating the land of the Nile into the vast Achaemenid Empire. But while his military success is well documented, his personal life remains a subject of intense debate. Greek historians such as Herodotus, who wrote extensively about Cambyses, paint a picture of a ruler consumed by madness, paranoia, and extreme cruelty. According to these accounts, Cambyses not only desecrated Egyptian religious traditions, but also committed shocking acts against his own family. One of the most infamous claims is that he married his sister. The idea of royal sibling marriage may seem shocking today, but in some ancient cultures, it was not unheard of. The Egyptian pharaohs, for example, often married their sisters to preserve the purity of their divine bloodline. But in Persian tradition, such marriages were not common. So if Cambyses truly married his sister, why did he do it? Some historians believe that he may have been influenced by Egyptian customs after conquering the land, adopting their practices to legitimize his rule as pharaoh. Others argue that this claim was a fabrication, invented by his enemies to tarnish his legacy. The ancient accounts do not stop there. Some sources go even further, alleging that Cambyses did not only marry his sister, but also his own daughter. This claim, however, is far more questionable. Unlike the marriage of siblings, which had some precedent in history, the idea of a father marrying his daughter is much rarer and lacks strong historical support. The sources that mention this possibility are few and unreliable, leading many scholars to dismiss it as propaganda rather than fact. The difficulty in verifying these claims lies in the nature of historical records. Much of what we know about Cambyses II comes from Greek historians, particularly Herodotus, who wrote about the Persian king nearly a century after his death. Herodotus describes Cambyses as a cruel and tyrannical ruler, prone to fits of rage and excessive violence. He accuses the king of killing his own brother, desecrating sacred Egyptian traditions, and engaging in bizarre and immoral acts. But how much of this is true? Herodotus, like many ancient historians, wrote with a strong bias. As a Greek, he may have had reasons to portray Persian rulers in a negative light, exaggerating or even fabricating stories to make them seem more barbaric. There is also the question of political motivations. After Cambyses' sudden death in 522 BC, his rule was followed by a period of turmoil. A man named Bardia, claiming to be Cambyses' brother, took the throne. However, another Persian noble, Darius I, later seized power and declared that Bardia was an impostor. Darius's rise to power was accompanied by a need to justify his rule, and one way to do so was to discredit Cambyses. It is possible that some of the more scandalous stories about Cambyses were spread by Darius's supporters to paint the former king as insane and unfit to rule. So, what can we conclude? Did Cambyses really marry his sister? While the idea is not entirely implausible, it remains uncertain. There is no direct Persian record confirming the marriage, and the sources that mention it are largely Greek and possibly biased. As for the claim that he married his own daughter, this is even more doubtful, with no credible evidence to support it. What we do know is that Cambyses II was a powerful and ambitious ruler, whose reign was cut short under mysterious circumstances. Whether he was truly the mad tyrant that Herodotus describes, or simply the victim of historical distortion, one thing is certain: his legacy remains one of the most controversial in Persian history. The story of Cambyses II is a reminder of how history is shaped not just by facts, but by the people who record them. His name has been forever linked with scandal and excess. But was he truly the monster that history claims? Or was he simply a ruler whose enemies ensured that his story would be told in the worst possible light? The truth, as always, may never be fully known.